There's another application which lets you view the entire Tanakh. Hebrew and English parallel, side by side. So you can study anything you want. And so let's say we zoom in a little bit. And what I have here is, this is a text from Parshas Lech Lecha. And it talks about Avram went to the land of Canaan. God told him to Lech Lecha me'aretz, so we go from the land. And it says he went to Egypt, to the south, and it continues to tell us how he went to this place called Beit El. And it continues to track the journeys of Abraham. Now I'm reading this and I'm thinking, where's Canaan? Where's Beit El? I have no idea. And I'm reading the text. We've all seen it in shul, but I don't really get it. I don't know what that means. So I'm trying to understand, to draw bridges and connections. So I asked the question of where else in the Torah does it mention Beit El? With the tap of a button, I'm able to see every verse in the entire Tanakh that references that place. I can see over the course of hundreds of thousands of years what other people, what other nations may have traversed that very same spot. Because the place that Abraham went to was the same place that Isaac went to, that Jacob went to. And we get to see the parallel. But I still want to figure out where it is. And so with the tap of a button, I see that's the land of Canaan. Abraham got to the land of Canaan and God said, no. Time to go to Egypt. All right, well, where's that on the map? And suddenly you see the two red pins all the way up on the right. We've got the pin where Abraham started in Canaan, all the way down to the land of Egypt. Now, while we're on Egypt, I'm curious to find out about the Yam Suf, about the Sea of Reeds, the sea that's split. And I can suddenly reference every verse in the entire Torah that talks about whenever that sea was crossed. And it gives me a global picture where I'm zooming out and able to see the Torah in a way that I never would have seen it before. Where was the first time? Today's Yom Yerushalayim. So let's talk, where was the first time Jerusalem was mentioned in the Torah? So we have a pasuk, a verse that says, when Abraham came back from war against the four kings, it says, Malki Tzedek, right up over here, Malki Tzedek, Melech Shalem, Malki Tzedek was the king of Shalem. Now there really isn't a place called Shalem that we know of, but Shalem is short for Yerushalayim. That was the original name of the city of peace. So when we talk about the city of Shalem, again, I want to know, where is the city of Shalem? And from the iPhone or the iPad, I tap a button, and automatically it takes me in. And I can see this is an actual satellite view from my phone that shows me Jerusalem. And can you tell what we're looking at? It's an actual picture of a satellite view of the Temple Mount. And right where that pin is, that's approximately the spots of where the Kotel is, the western wall, but that is the Har HaBayis. That is the temple, that is the same place that Abraham brought his son Yitzchak. Same place that Yaakov had the vision of the angels going up and down the ladders. Same place that right now today, tens of thousands of people are going to this very spot to celebrate Yom Yerushalayim. And so it gives me a greater connection because I'm not just studying some verse somewhere in the Torah, but it becomes something I can relate to, something I can connect with, I can feel, and I can understand. Now let's take it up a level here. I want to study Talmud. And this is the iPhone application, 1,500 years in the making. This application will allow anybody to study Gemara. Now it used to be you had to have dozens of big fat volumes of Gemara to be able to study Shas. With this, I can pick virtually any page in the whole Shas and all the Talmud, and I can view it. This is the open of Shas. The Talmud starts with the Mishnah and Brachos. The question, and if you want to make it bigger, I can just click a button, and there it comes. What time is a person allowed to say the evening Shema? And the Mishnah gets into different discussions, but you notice some of the lines are blue. Those are blue because they're hyperlinks. Because when you study the Talmud, there are different authorities. And so when I click the next button, just by tapping on a word, it gives me the option. Would you like Rashi or would you like Tosfos? And you click on Rashi, and up, just like that, appears the commentary of Rashi or the commentary of Tosfos. And effortlessly, you get to immerse yourself in the study of Talmud. Now you see on the bottom there are again different options. So let's say I want to click on, instead of reading in Hebrew, I'm going to click on and change it to English. because I don't know everything in Hebrew or Aramaic. So if I get stuck, rather than throw my hands up in the air, Judy, and give up, what can I do? I just read English and I can cheat a little bit to help me along in the study. But let's say even at that point, I want to get the real experience of seeing the page of the Talmud. With a click of a button, I can actually see the Tzuras Hadaf, the actual layout of the full page of the Talmud right there on my phone or on the iPad. It's kind of small, so what do? I tap it again, and it zooms in. And you can literally just study it right there in front of you, as if you're holding the Talmud, the book of the Talmud, on your lap. But even at that, I get stuck, I need some help. Click another button, the audio button. You ready for this? An audio stream of a rabbi suddenly pops up, and he starts reciting the Gemara in the original text with English and explaining, teaching it as if you were in a class. So again, what excuse is there not to study? It's amazing. Literally, at the tips of our fingers, we can just sit and touch a button and have a Rebbe teach me the Gemara as if I were living 1,000 years ago or 2,000 years ago when the Gemara was first written. They have a similar application for Mishnah. A person can go through all of Shas and study the Mishnah. Along those lines, we have the Mishnah that everyone loves, Pirkei Avot, the ethics of our fathers. And it starts off with the famous Mishnah. Moshe Kibel Torah Misina. This is from my phone. I actually took the picture from my phone. Moses received the Torah from Sinai. This is the foundation. If you don't believe this, you've got a lot of work to do. There is a God. God gave us the Torah. And it says to Joshua, well, you know, Hebrew is a little bit hard, so click a button, now it's in English. To Joshua, to the elders, to the prophets, but it doesn't say to the iPhone. But somehow it was transmitted generation to generation. Here's the Mishnah 2, the famous Mishnah of Shimon the Righteous, which says that the world stands on 3 pillars. Torah, Avodah, Gemilas Chasad. Torah, service, and acts of kindness. So if I have 5 minutes and I'm sitting, I can just open this up and study a little bit of Pirkei Avot. Now this is unbelievable. Get ready. There's a website called HebrewBooks.org. HebrewBooks.org it's an actual website that you can go to and virtually see almost any Hebrew book. There are, I don't know how many, Rabbi Cohen, any idea how many books they have? 100,000 books. Going back throughout all of time and space and any sefer that you want to get your hands on. Well, they have an application for my phone. And it lets me browse the categories. Do I want Torah, Tanakh, or Mussar, or Halach, or Ashkaf, or Contemporary? And when I click on a category, it automatically, this is from my phone, it loads, and I can scroll hundreds of times through thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of titles. And let's say I start with that book on the top right. Yeah, I want to look at that. So I click on it. And it gives me the option. Do I want to just peruse it, or do I want to download it and save it to my phone? And so I'm going to say, let's take a look at this book. So I click on it, and automatically, this Sefer, Ahavas Yisrael, opens up on my phone. As if I just was in a big yeshiva in the Beis Medrash, and I went over the bookshelf and I pulled it off, and now I said, let me scroll through the pages. So I can touch a button and automatically jump page numbers to get to the page that I want to get to. So I'm going to pick a page, and this is the exact image of what will come up. The full page of the text of the Sefer that I'm studying. And it starts off with such a beautiful teaching. It says, Yotzei Chalatzav Shel Adam Harishon. The descendants that first came from Adam, Yeshvu B'Choshech, they sat in darkness. V'Noach Aleim Or Hashem, and they didn't have the light of God. And he starts off with this beautiful teaching about how Asar Doros Me'Adam Ad Noach, through the 10 generations from Adam to Noah, and then from Noah to Abraham, how the civilization developed and people came closer and closer to the awareness of God. And I can sit and study hundreds of pages from hundreds of thousands of books. It's endless, the access that I have to libraries. But let's say I'm reading in Hebrew and I get stuck on a word. There's another app where I can translate. So I type in the word shalom, and then I click on the bottom right, it says enter, and suddenly it tells me, hello, the translation of the word shalom. And let's say I'm in Israel and I want to say, how do you say hello? So I type in hello, and it tells me on the bottom right. So I can translate from Hebrew to English, or English to Hebrew, just by tapping on my phone. So if I ever study and get stuck, I can move right past it. All right, time to talk kosher. CRC, the Chicago Rabbinical Council, put out a fantastic app which helps me navigate all sorts of questions of kashrut. So on their opening page that you click on, I can look through different choice beverage, fruit and vegetable guides, liquor, Slurpees, see which Slurpees are kosher, or the Passover guide. So I'm going to start off with their liquor list. And I can go through to see what is kosher, but I break it down by genre. So let's say I'm going to go over to the whiskeys. And I click on the whiskeys, of course I'm going to go to Crown Royal. Where else would I go? And I go to Crown Royal and it tells me that the original Crown Royal is acceptable, even without certification, but they don't have any information on Crown Royal if it's aged in the sherry casks. But regular Crown Royal is kosher. So if I'm in the liquor store and I'm not sure, just pull out your phone and you can get the answer to the question. Let's say I have vegetables. The liquor, that'll get you. I have vegetables. Now we know vegetables are all kosher. However, you need to check them to make sure there are no bugs in them. It has to be a thorough process. Every vegetable has a different process. So let's say I want to look, for instance, at celery stalks. It tells me, how do you clean them? Well, it says, you're going to wash them and check them well, but be careful around the bottom of the stalk and around the leaves to make sure there are no bugs. And I can go through for every single vegetable out there to figure out exactly how to properly clean them. Let's say I see a kosher symbol that I don't recognize. I'm at Publix, I'm not sure. Right there I can scroll through dozens and dozens of kosher symbols, and from there I can tap on any of them and they'll tell me who the rabbi is, where it's from, the phone number if I want to call them, and telling me that these are all approved or recommended hechshers that they're telling you that you can use. Another kosher app by Rusty Brick, this is amazing. You go to a town, you're visiting, you want to know, where can I buy kosher food around here? So it finds your GPS location and it searches around your area. So there on the little blue dot, right over there, and it says, if you go down Savannah Highway, there's a Krispy Kreme donuts that's kosher. How did my phone know that? Isn't that amazing? So you go into any city, anywhere in the world, and it'll tell you, it even tells you red or purple whether it's meat or dairy. But it says that it's kosher. Now how do I know it's kosher? Whose version of kosher? So I click on it, and it opens up with the name, the address, the phone number, and the hashkacha. And what's the hashkacha that's on there? It says, Palmet OK. Rabbi Ari Sytner. And so people are able to figure out which hechsher, do they want to trust it, not want to trust it, but you have the information so you can make the decisions. I typed in Muncie here again, got a little more option for eating out than you do in Charleston. But these are all different kosher establishments. And let's say I want a bagel shop, tap a button, I got Ellie's Bagel Shop, right on Maple Avenue. So again, you can tap on and get all the information. So I find my kosher restaurant, I sit down to my bagel, and I know I'm supposed to say a blessing, but I don't know what the blessing is. So I click on the blessing right there. What blessing, Barbara, do I say on bread? And automatically it pops up, blessing on bread, Hamotzi Lechem Min Haaretz. It's all right there. And they have another version which has it transliterated into English as well. It gives me another database of hechsherim, of kosher symbols and organizations, so when you see one that you don't recognize, it's easy to look up. Now let's study some more Torah. This is from Kol HaLashon, where I tap on the app and automatically it gives me the option of searching their online database of pre-recorded classes. So let's say you want to study hours and hours of classes you want to learn. So we click on the first button. Well, what language do you want to learn in? You feel like studying in French? You want to study in Spanish? Hebrew? English? Yiddish? So I'm going to choose English. Well, that looks like Hebrew. And it says Gemara, Mishnah, Halacha, Musar, Chasidus, and I can just keep clicking and clicking till I choose which one and I decide I'm going to choose this nice rabbi here, and automatically a video will pop up of his recorded shiur. And I can sit and listen to this lecture as if I was sitting in the audience. And I'm having a one-on-one experience being taught Torah by a rabbi from the palm of my hand, sitting there with my phone. It's unbelievable how easily accessible it is to study Torah.